Now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to
Good afternoon. A little bit more volume in the last few minutes on 65, working your way up through Madison, headed on up into Goodlettsville. It's starting to develop a little bit more volume. 40 east over here at Briley as you come past the airport, headed on out towards Wilson County. It's moving right now, 24 east, keeping a good eye on it here at Briley Parkway, headed out through Antioch towards Murfreesboro. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions in Lebanon. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
From driveways to highways, SRM Concrete has the right mix, on time, every time. Locally grown, nationally known, family owned and operated. SRM is the name you trust. SRM Concrete, you call, we haul.
Rutherford weather.
Lows level off around 67 tonight under clear skies. Mainly sunny tomorrow. Slight chance for storms. Daytime highs approaching 90. I'm WGNS meteorologist Derek Height. Currently, it's 81 degrees.
We do it your way at Sir Pizza.
Your favorites can now be ordered online at sirpizzatn.com. Carryout and delivery are available. Just go to sirpizzatn.com and tap the location closest to you.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com.
From the first pitch to the final buzzer, this is where the conversation starts. All sports talk on WGNS and Big G TV, covering the Preps, MTSU, news from Tennessee and nationwide. Now, here's All Sports Talk on the Good Neighbor Network.
Welcome into All Sports Talk for this Monday, starting another week of sports conversation with you. This is Dick Palmer. Got a special guest in studio today, and we're just going to be pounding it out from one thing to another. So I want to introduce Maurice Patton. Most of you who have been around a while and follow sports know him as Mo. So Mo, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks. It's good to be here, Dick. Appreciate you having me in.
We're doing a little reversal world here because you're normally accustomed to being an interviewer, and so now you're going to be on the other end of the conversation. But you can revert back if you have anything to ask me.
I think I'll let you drive today. How's that? I've been out in the traffic long enough. I'll let you have the wheel for a while.
We should have gotten you to do that traffic report. How's the traffic between here and Columbia now?
Well, actually, I didn't come from Columbia. Fortunately enough, I came from Franklin. I work in Columbia. I live in Franklin.
Okay.
So I'm typically in traffic anyway. You know, it was typical Murfreesboro traffic this time of afternoon, which is to say pretty bad.
You coming on 240?
No, I just
840, I mean?
No, I'm old school. I just came straight across 96.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to get into your background just a little bit, if that's all right with you.
We can do whatever you want to do. It's your show.
You're a native of Franklin?
I am. I tell people all the time, I was having this conversation about a week or so ago. I'm the last of a dying breed. I'm a Franklin native who still lives there. There's not a whole lot of us around.
And I'm a little bit like that as far as Murfreesboro is concerned. But you went to school, your background in
I graduated,
high school?
I graduated from Franklin High. Again, I was the last graduating class at Franklin before Brentwood High School opened.
Okay.
I graduated in 82 and Brentwood opened that fall, the fall of 82. And again, it's I say that to folks and they look at me like I've got three eyes or something. But yeah, Brentwood is not as old as some people would like to think. And I guess when I graduated, there were actually three public schools in Williamson County. It was Franklin, it was Page, and it was Fairview. And you look how things have changed since then. Of course, that's been a while.
Yeah, there's a slew of them.
Yeah, but I mean, we were taking notes on stone tablets and that kind of thing when I was in school, you know.
So you chose to come to Murfreesboro for your higher education?
Eventually.
Okay. Take us through that trip.
Well, you know, kind of like you spent a little time in West Tennessee. I spent a little time in West Tennessee. I went to school at Lambeth College for a year before not being able to afford to go back and transfer into MTSU.
So what year were you at Lambeth?
82, 83.
All right. I was in Jackson from 63 through 70.
Okay, so you had already come back then.
Actually, I went from Jackson to Memphis and came back here in 77.
Okay.
But but I'm very familiar with Lambeth.
Yeah. I was out there. Jack Russell was the baseball coach. Pepper Bray was the basketball coach, and
Jack Russell was the baseball coach at Union when I was in Jackson, and Pepper, who was a very good friend of mine, by the way, was the girls basketball coach at Jackson High School, and we had a lot of nice conversations.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I can just imagine. But yeah, and as I mentioned, Russell was the baseball coach. Bray was the basketball coach. There was no football. They had not brought football back yet when I was there. I think it was about 6-8 years later when they brought it back, and we're having some success with football before they shut the entire university down, unfortunately.
And Memphis, University of Memphis took it over, right?
Yes. It's now the University of Memphis Lambeth campus. I've not been over there in years. I've been to Jackson a couple of times in the last 5 to 8 years, but I've not had a chance to get over to campus to really see it because I was probably down there for a football game or something. Just
probably, and it's kind of coincidental because I had Joe Holloway on last Monday from Jackson, who does a show similar to this in Jackson. So I imagine you've crossed paths with Joe.
I have crossed paths with Joe, and crossing paths with Joe is an experience. I wonder, were you able to get any words in on your show when you had Joe on?
I told somebody the other day, I said, that is the easiest show I have ever done. I didn't have to say a word.
I've said as a journalist, I think one of my favorite interviews would be if I had the opportunity to interview Charles Barkley, just because it feels like you could just stick a tape recorder or whatever in front of him and just say, go.
And you would never know what's going to come out.
Yeah, and pretty similar to Joe, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But anyway, that's beside the point. So when did you give up on Lambeth and decide to come to Murfreesboro?
I only spent a year at Lambeth. I transferred up here in August of '83, and I've said often that John Stanford and Ed Given are pretty well responsible for my career. I was taking a coaching baseball class in the spring of '84, and Coach Stanford decided that I knew a little something. He said, you need to go see Ed Given. I want you to be my road SID.
Wow.
And I was majoring in accounting at the time, and it's like, Coach, I can't miss that much class time. I'm trying to get an accounting degree, which did not work out, by the way. I probably should have taken him up on it. But I did go see Mr. Given, and he put me to work on his game stats crew and that kind of thing, and it just kind of went from there.
Mr. Given was a one-man department back in those days.
He absolutely was, and I didn't realize it until here not long ago. He had just gotten to middle when I got up there, because he had come from Western Kentucky in a similar position, and I didn't realize that he hadn't been there any longer than he had. But I think he spent 10 years at Western and 10 years at Middle before he retired. But I attribute everything that I know, just in terms of stat keeping and so much more, to being around Ed Given.
Just another side note, I had Mr. Given on this show, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, and that show is still, I think it's probably still in the vault bank at the radio station. If you wanted to go online and go back and pick it up, I think you would enjoy that. I actually recorded it at his home. He was getting up in years at the time, and of course he passed. We lost him about a month, 6 weeks ago?
No, it's been longer than that. It was April, I think, that he passed. March, April, somewhere along through there, because they had his celebration of life. I think it was in late April at his home. Beautiful home, by the way. And I don't know if you made it to that.
I didn't. I was on a baseball trip that weekend, yeah.
He had written something. He had written an essay about the state of college athletics back while he was at Western, like in the sometime during the 70s.
Yeah.
He was reacting to some comments that Notre Dame basketball coach Digger Phelps had made about basketball recruiting and the state of college athletics and if you can believe it, the ineptitude of the NCAA.
Really?
And so his son Kerry let me scan that document, and we actually ran it in my newspaper, Main Street Murray, a couple of weeks ago, and it's available if you'd like to go check it out at mainstreetmurray.com. Shameless plug. There were a lot of points that he made in his little essay there that are very, very valid right now across college athletics. It was kind of crazy to see.
And that was written in the 80s?
70s.
70s. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go check that out when you get a chance.
So when you started working for Ed, Mr. Gibbon, was that when you decided you might like to make a career of this? Or?
You know, when I was coming out of high school, I was debating whether I wanted to try to get into accounting or whether I wanted to try to get into journalism. And accounting kind of got my attention early on, but the academic portion of accounting kind of weeded me out a little bit.
Kind of
so
tough.
Yeah, it is. You know, tax accounting and accounting ethics and those senior level accounting classes kind of said you might want to find something else. But seriously, I don't think I would have really enjoyed, you know, the behind a desk all that time and that kind of thing at the professional level. So it kind of worked out. But as I was working in sports information for Mr. Gibbon, being exposed to some of the guys at the Daily News Journal at the time, Mike McIntyre, Terry McCormick in particular. I was at a baseball game one spring, I guess spring of '86, and Mike had said, "Hey, what are you going to be doing this summer?" And I said, "Trying to pass a couple of accounting classes." "Why, what's up?" And he said, "We could use a part-timer at the DNJ." And so I started working part-time at the Daily News Journal in like June of '86 while I was still trying to graduate in accounting, which never did happen. But my first assignment for the DNJ was, and I don't know if they still have it or not, but they used to have a horse show out there off Old Fort.
Yes.
And like I said, I don't know if they still have it or not, walking horse show.
It's not at Old Fort anymore, but I believe
Well, yeah, I guess it's probably at the Miller Coliseum,
right,
maybe.
right.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But didn't know anything about walking horses. Lee Sadler threw me to it. It's like, gee, thanks, Lee. You know, let's find out just how bad I am in a hurry. But I survived it and just kind of went from there.
You mentioned Lee. Now that was a real character, and I was gonna ask you later on in the show about some of the interesting characters that you've run across.
Well, there we go.
And he had to be one of them, huh?
Without question. Yeah, I tell you, Mr. Sadler was something else. You know, those few months that I was working part-time at the DNJ, I covered high school basketball. Harry Gill was the girls' basketball coach at Smyrna. Speaking of interesting characters, you know, got exposed to a lot in a hurry and somehow managed to stay in it. You know, started working full-time over at the Review Appeal in Franklin, in my hometown, that following January, and spent 3 years there before I went to the Tennessean in '90.
Lee Sadler will always hold a spot in my heart because when I was a senior in high school playing basketball for Lee Pate at Central, and I was a sub. I didn't get to play much, but I got in one game and had a pretty decent game as a sub. Somebody fouled out, I think, but he wrote some nice things about me in the paper, and I've still got that.
There you go. Yeah.
People remember.
Well, and I think, unfortunately, that's something that has kind of been lost in the evolution of journalism from newsprint to digital, that kind of thing. You don't necessarily have the clippings unless you print a story off the internet.
Right.
But I don't know that people are still keeping scrapbooks and that kind of thing. But I was fortunate enough to, kind of get in on the tail end of that portion of journalism. And I've had people tell me that, they clipped an article that I've written, something like that. I've been in coaches' offices, I've been in gymnasiums and that kind of thing, and looked up and seen articles that I've written, and it's kind of cool after a certain period of time to be able to walk the hall down at Hickman County High School and see your coverage of their girls basketball state championship run, or something along those lines.
Right.
You don't necessarily have an ego about it or anything, but it's kind of cool again to just be walking around and all of a sudden see a newspaper article and see your byline on it. And
we're going to talk in the next segment a little bit about the evolution or the dissolution of the
devolution,
print journalism, and let you get into that a little bit, and we'll have more. But my guest is Maurice Patton. Mo, most of us know him from Franklin, works now in Columbia, and we'll get a little bit more about that later. So we're going to take our first break. I'll be back with Mo and more after this. You're listening to All Sports Talk.
First Shot transforms Rutherford County youth. Coach Andy Herzer leads dynamic basketball camps and clinics, building skills and character since 2003. Kids dive into exciting STEM projects, sparking creativity through hands-on coding, art, and dance. They elevate their mind, spirit, and body in summer and winter programs. Visit FirstShotTN.org today to learn more. First Shot, where kids gain, elevate, and develop.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
I've always been a big fan of auctions. Get instant sale, no contingencies.
That means the sale of your property won't depend on an inspection, financing, or appraisals.
I've known the guys over there my entire life.
Call Parks Auction and Realty or visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Parks Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
Discover hidden treasures at the Garden Patch Thrift Shop on Spring Street in Murfreesboro. Whether you're searching for stylish clothing, sturdy furniture, or even large appliances, we've got them all at prices that you'll love. But here's the best part. 100% of your purchase supports Greenhouse Ministries, serving over 70 families a day. Your shopping dollars go straight back into the community, making a real impact. Shop smart and give back at the Garden Patch Thrift Shop on Spring Street in Murfreesboro.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there, providing hot meals, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
WGNS. Our family at Demas's Restaurant are proud to support local emergency responders who put their lives on the line for our community each and every day. This is Peter Demas, and here is this week's Demas's Emergency Responder of the Week.
Paloma Gonzalez-Paul is a paramedic with the Rutherford County Emergency Medical Services. A listener said that she came to her mother's aid when she fell and broke her ribs. She said, "My mom is so appreciative of the kind and helpful way Ms. Paul treated her." Paloma Gonzalez-Paul's supervisor says she looks for ways to help others, works hard, and continuously aspires to learn more. Thank you, Paloma Gonzalez-Paul, with the Rutherford County Emergency Medical Services.
When you see a firefighter, police officer, paramedic, or telecommunicator going the extra mile, let WGNS know, and we at Demas's Restaurant will salute them as the Emergency Responder of the Week.
Good afternoon. A bit more volume in the last few minutes on 65, working your way up through Madison, headed on up into Goodlettsville. It's starting to develop a little bit more volume. 40 east over here at Briley as you come past the airport, headed on out towards Wilson County. It's moving right now, 24 east, keeping a good eye on it here at Briley Parkway, headed out through Antioch towards Murfreesboro. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions in Lebanon. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, wgnsradio.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome back into All Sports Talk for this Monday afternoon. Dick Palmer with you, and my special guest is Mo Patton from Franklin, Tennessee. And Mo, when we took the commercial break, we had you working at the DNJ and just moved up to the Tennessean, I think.
With 3 years at the Review Appeal over in Franklin in between. But yeah, I went to the Tennessean in like February of '90, covered high schools down there for about 5 years. And I mentioned that one of my first assignments at the DNJ was covering a walking horse show, and it's kind of ironic, I guess, when you think about it, because one of my first assignments when I got to the Tennessean in February of '90 was going down and covering the District 8 AAA girls basketball tournament, which was pretty much the Rick Insel Invitational.
Yes.
Yeah. So go down to Shelbyville and checking that out. Fortunately, I had seen enough of Shelbyville and had observed Rick because, as I said, I was on Mr. Givens' game crews, and we staffed the girls high school state tournament for a few years at Murphy Center. So wasn't a whole lot of shock watching Rick in action, but kind of started basically a 40-year friendship there. I got lucky to get kind of accepted as, you know, one of his guys to some degree.
And that says a lot because not everybody falls into that classification.
No, they don't. And so, yeah, I did feel lucky, but I mean, you know, it wasn't necessarily anything I was trying to do. All I was trying to do was do my job.
Right.
And fortunately, he recognized that.
That might fall into a category of interesting characters that you've come across, huh?
I've come across a few. I mean, I've never really thought about it in that vein, but yeah, I've been lucky enough to be around some really interesting and amazing individuals. You know, we were mentioning off air Jack Jolly, the longtime Oakland coach and the, you know, legend. I mean, he's Mr. Baseball in this area, basically. And he was another one. He had gotten out of coaching by the time I encountered him, but he was deep in scouting. And, you know, I'd ask him about some folks that he'd seen and some just for background information, that kind of thing, particularly, you know, when I was working at the Tennessean trying to figure out, you know, who was good that I hadn't necessarily seen, that kind of thing. But I was telling you again off air, one of the more interesting stories that I think about when I think about Jack, Mr. Jolly. For whatever reason, he had seen Goodpasture play one year in the early 90s. And he had actually, I think he was scouting for the White Sox at that time. He had turned in a scouting report on a 6'6", 6'7" right-handed pitcher named Ron Mercer. Ron obviously went in a different direction, but can you imagine, you know, 6'7" coming down off the mound at you?
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I guess that was what he thought as well when he wrote him up and turned it in. I don't know that Ron played past his freshman year and just recently inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. So, again, I think Ron made the right move, but, you know, you never know.
Speaking of that, you yourself are a member of the Sports Writers Hall of Fame.
You know,
congratulations on that.
You know, Dick, eventually they run out of folks. And no, seriously, it was an unexpected honor. It's a huge honor, and I can't speak for other folks, but I know my initial reaction was that, you know, you don't do what we do for that type of recognition, but it's nice when it comes. And so it was really pretty cool. And especially when you think about some of the legendary sports journalists that we've had across this state. And I've been fortunate to rub elbows, well, heck, work for and with a lot of them. You know, John Bibb, Jimmy Davey, David Clymer, Larry Woody, just at the Tennessean, you know, Buck Johnson down in Chattanooga, all the great sports writers that they had down there. Bill Luther and Mike Strange and the late Gary Lundy up at the Knoxville News Sentinel. I mean, I had the opportunity to be around a lot of those folks and watch them do what they do, and the idea of being mentioned in the same vein with those folks is really kind of humbling.
Do you remember who the sports editor to the Jackson Sun was when you were at Lambeth?
I don't know if it was Dan Morris when I was at Lambeth, but it was Dan Morris when I got to the Tennessean in '90, and he was another great one. We'd cross paths at state tournaments and state high school events and that kind of thing, and he did a fantastic job for a long time down there.
So tell me about working for John Bibb, a legend.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, he gave you guidance and then he let you work. And, you know, that's something else that you don't always come across.
Exactly.
I mean, if you needed to be told something, if you needed to be, you know, reprimanded or straightened out or whatever, he didn't mind doing that. But for the most part, if you were doing your job, he let you do your job, and there's something to be said for that.
Yes, no doubt about that. So, in your years at the Tennessee, and I know you got to interview a lot of interesting people. What are some of the interviews that you remember?
Hands down, Pat Summitt. The opportunity to interact with her, and I covered the Lady Vols for the first two of their three straight national titles in 96, 97, 98.
Right.
I covered two of those seasons, but I had been fortunate enough to, you know, be around her even before that. She was speaking at a coaching clinic out at the Opryland one summer. And summer, when you're covering high school stuff, you don't have or you didn't have a whole lot to cover then. You do now. But they're like, go cover this high school coaching clinic and put something together on Coach Summitt, which she was Coach Summitt for about that long. Call me Pat, you know, as she did with everybody. But, you know, it was just striking to me, someone who had accomplished as much as she had accomplished to that time, being willing to share so much time with somebody who was so awestruck at the time. I mean, she was just head and shoulders above anybody that I've dealt with.
Yeah. And have you had a chance to read any of her books?
I've read a couple of her books. I mean, there's nothing that she didn't do that wasn't outstanding, whether it was on the floor or what she wrote or anything else. I saw a clip of her. She was doing color commentary for the first WNBA All-Star game.
Okay.
And it came across social media a couple of weeks ago, and just I replayed it like probably 10 times over 2 or 3 days, just listening to her voice, man, because she spoke in a way that was authoritative but conversational at the same time. I mean, she knew what she was talking about, obviously, but she didn't like beat you over the head with it.
Right.
And she just had a conversational tone that really made you comfortable being around her, regardless of who you were.
If I were a play-by-play announcer and she was my color commentator, I would just be at a loss for words.
Yeah, I think you just let her take it, right? I mean, but yeah, she was fantastic to deal with. It's tough coming up with names off the top, just because unfortunately there have been a lot of them and they start to run together. I will tell you somebody, and I probably shouldn't say this, and it's not just because I'm sitting here in Murfreesboro, but one of my favorite people to deal with here over the last 15, 20 years, and I don't get as much opportunity to deal with him now because of where I am and obviously where he is, But Kevin Creasy over at Oakland really gets it, I think, from a media standpoint. He's very accessible. He's always been pretty forthcoming with me, and I've always enjoyed, even when he was up at Trousdale, I always enjoyed dealing with him.
One of the preeminent high school football coaches in the state.
I give him a hard time. I was giving him a hard time a few weeks ago. Somebody had a graphic again. I spend too much time on social media, but somebody had put a graphic together about his 6 state championships in like a 10 or 12 year stretch at Oakland, but he did not win one his first 3 years. And so I texted him. I'm like, I sent him a screenshot of the graphic, and I'm like, what were you doing that first 3 years, dude? Yeah, just a little jab. Gotta keep Creasy humble.
Yeah,
you know?
There you go.
But yeah, super guy.
Mike McClory has just recently taken the baseball job at Oakland. He was the pitching coach for Coach Pete, and later moved on. But he'd been over in your neck of the woods for the last several years and done a fantastic job.
He had done a fantastic job over at Independence. He took them to 2 state tournaments over the last 4 years, and he's got a chance to get back home, and he's going to have his youngest son playing for him here in about a year or so. I think he's at Oakland Middle School now. His oldest came over to Independence and played for him, but he's lived here in Murfreesboro all along, and
he's got kind of a dry wit about him.
you know him, obviously, yeah. He's a super dude, and he's going to do a great job at Oakland, and you know, he's got some pretty big shoes to fill. Obviously, Mac Hawks did a great job for a long time over there, and is a Hall of Famer and has some state titles and that kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Mac does over here.
My favorite Mike McClory story. He was pitching coach, as I mentioned, for MTSU, and we were playing up at, I want to say, I don't think it was Marshall. It was back in the Sun Belt days, I think. But anyway, whoever it was we were playing was just hitting the ball out of the park.
Not a good day for a pitching coach.
Particularly down the left field line. And it got so bad where they were stationing managers out behind the left field fence to get the home run balls that they were hitting. It was awful. They had a little picnic area down the third base line leading out toward left field, and they had a bunch of fans out there, and they had food, and they were having a big time because they were beating the stew out of us. And a foul ball went over into that picnic area, and a rather stout gentleman picked up the baseball and brought it over to the fence, and McClory was close to the dugout, and he said, "Here, Coach, here's that foul ball." McClory said, "Well, why don't you just eat it? You've eaten everything else out here." And that's a true story.
Oh, I'm sure it is. That's one of those things that you can see Mike saying and doing, particularly in that situation. Yeah, a little frustration setting in.
So at the Tennessean, you mentioned the Pat Summit assignment. What were some of the other good assignments that you got?
I was on our team that covered the Tennessee Titans in the Super Bowl down in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
When they had the ice storm down there the week leading up to, and that was a treat. But, obviously one of the better games in the Super Bowl to that point. Tough loss for the Titans, and unfortunately haven't really been able to approach that level of success to get back to a Super Bowl since then. But, it was really historic. First full season of the Titans in Nashville, in the new stadium, the run that they went on to get there with the home run throwback play with Kevin Dyson scoring that touchdown.
Were you covering that game?
I was at that game. Yeah, I was at that game. And what's funny is a lot of folks had gone down to the field were on the elevator, did not actually see
ready to go home.
the play. Yeah, getting ready to go down and go to the losing locker room of the home team.
But fans too. And my son Mike had my ticket for that game because I was on a basketball trip, and Mike said, well, when they scored that last touchdown or whatever field goal, whatever it was, he said, I just walked down, and we were way up high, so we had a long walk. And he said, I stopped at the lower level when I got down and walked back out through one of the passageways just to look, and he saw the play standing up on his way out of the stadium.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Yes, right. All right, we're about out of time on this segment. We're going to take a break. I'll be back. Mo Patton is my guest, and you're listening to All Sports Talk.
You're listening to the flagship station for Blue Raiders sports.
20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
Play up and score.
Middle Tennessee football, basketball, and baseball. Yeah, we got them.
You're listening to the flagship station for Blue Raider Athletics. I'm Chip Walters. Hear the games here on News Radio WGNS.
Middle Tennessee wins.
Raiders win the championship.
Your source for the Big Blue and the Borough. News Radio WGNS.
Whether you need general vehicle upkeep and maintenance or a complete vehicle overhaul, Hall's Auto Care is here for you. We're locally owned and operated by Greg Hall and have been in business since 2014. You'll get excellent service and trustworthy advice with Hall's Auto Care. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We're ready to help get you safely on the road. Hall's Auto Care, 907 Ridgely Road, just off Broad Street behind Chili's. Online at hallsautocare.net. Hall's Auto Care.
If you want to get some barbecue, I'll tell you how to do it. Head for the Slick Pig and you're into it. Just walk through the door at 1920 East Main and your nose will send a message right to your brain. Say, smells good. And barbecue. Slick Pig. We got ribs and beans. Got spicy wings. Slick Pig.
A Murfreesboro tradition. 1920 East Main.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
For home restoration at a price you can afford, trust the professionals at Farrah Construction to get the job done on time and within your budget. Farrah Construction can remodel your home or can update your kitchen, bath, or other rooms. I'm Ron Hall. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Call Farrah Construction at 615-893-6120. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
This is a paid legal ad.
It didn't cost me anything to call the law office of John Day.
I didn't have to pay just to seek out legal advice.
They handled it all, and they were very good.
The law offices of John Day. Call for your free consultation.
My name is Pat, and we are very real clients of the law offices of John Day.
We called the law office of John Day. They came to our rescue and took care of us, and we are very happy with them.
Injured by a big truck? Trust the law offices of John Day.
Next on All Sports Talk, it's the Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and let's give congratulations to the Blue Raider Hall of Fame class of 2026. The 6-member class will bring the total number of the Blue Raider Hall of Fame members to 199. The 6 individuals will be inducted into the Blue Raider Hall of Fame during a ceremony on November 6th, prior to the football game against Western Kentucky on November 7th. The class includes John M. Palma. He competed as a javelin thrower from 2014 to 16 and was national runner-up in the javelin at the 2015 NCAA Championships. Ampoma from Ghana owns the career record throw for MTSU with a mark of 81.55 meters and was Conference USA champion in 2015 and 16. Paige Davis of soccer, the 2012 Sun Belt Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Davis played for the Blue Raiders from 2009 to 2012, helping lead the program to a 49-29-6 record. The Fort Wayne, Indiana native ranks 7th in program history in points, is tied for 3rd in matches played, and ranks 4th in game-winning goals, and is tied for 10th in goals scored. Isabella Cazone of volleyball, the former Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year and honorable mention All-American in 2010, helped lead the Blue Raiders to 4 NCAA tournament appearances from 2007 through 2010. She finished her career ranked first in the 25-point rally scoring era in kills per set, attacks, service aces, and double aces. She was a 3-time all-conference selection. Clint Marks of Blue Raider football, a 36-game starter. Marks led the Blue Raiders to their first ever FBS Bowl appearance in 2006 at the Motor City Bowl. The left-hander finished his career ranked 2nd in school history in completion percentage, 4th in pass completions, 4th in passing yards, 4th in 200 passing yard games, and 7th in touchdown passes. Ken Riley from Blue Raider men's basketball, a 2-time All-OVC selection and team captain in 1970 and 71. Riley's a member of MTSU's 1,000-point club and ranks 20 in November. That's the 20th through the 23rd. The tournament features Temple, Indiana State, Stephen F. Austin, UT Martin, Southern Illinois, East Carolina, and Utah Valley as potential opponents for the Blue Raiders. More info on that to come. Middle Tennessee Golf has released its fall schedule anchored by 4 tournaments. One will be the J.T. Poston Invitational in North Carolina, the Bayou City Collegiate Classic in Houston, the Blessings Golf Club in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and the Bank of Tennessee Intercollegiate at Blackthorn Golf Club, that is in Jonesboro. And that's it for today, folks. We'll have another update for you coming up tomorrow right here on the Big G, WGNS.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSradio.com, and Big G TV.
And welcome back in for the final time here on Old Sports Talk for this Monday. Mo Patton is my guest, and from listening to Chip on the report, you usually think of this time of the year as a downtime for sports, but a lot going on over at the university.
It feels like there is no downtime anymore. Trust me, it just feels like it's never ending. But want to echo his comments there, and congratulations to that Hall of Fame class. Particularly Clint Marks. He's a guy whose name doesn't come up a whole lot when you think about MTSU football. I don't think. Even among left-handed quarterbacks at MTSU, but did a heck of a job while he was over there, and it's nice to see him recognized and the others as well.
Yes, no doubt about that. We left you at the Tennessean, and you moved on from there, and your journey has taken you to Columbia, but kind of fill in the blanks for me.
Left the Tennessean not of my own accord in September of 14.
And you weren't the only one, I'm sure.
I was not. I was not the first. I was not the last. But there are a pretty talented bunch of us out here that left under similar circumstances.
I wonder, and I've been in that situation myself before. Mm-hmm. And what crosses your mind? Is it what am I going to do next, or where?
I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, when you have been used to a steady paycheck for a certain period of time, and then all of a sudden you don't have one. Yeah, what am I going to do now? Is probably top of mind, and just kind of addressing your career, where are you going to be, what are you going to do, that kind of thing. But there are other things that cross your mind that are probably less worthy of discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. But what are you going to do next is a thing. And I was fortunate enough to be able to stay above water with a high school sports website for a couple of years. And then I went to the Daily Herald in Columbia in 2016, speaking of legends, replacing Marion Wilhoit.
Wow.
Or following Marion Wilhoit as sports editor. You don't replace a Marion Wilhoit, but following Marion Wilhoit as sports editor at the Daily Herald. And I was in that position from October of 2016 until COVID, basically. And during that time frame, the media organization that owned the Daily Herald, which was Gatehouse, purchased Gannett. I think that went down in like November of 19, and I was a little uneasy about that transaction for obvious reasons. There were people who kind of poked fun at me in the building over my...
So you're working for Gannett again.
Yeah. Well, for about 6 months. And then I got laid off again.
Yeah.
So, again, put together another website, had some success with it. Eventually, we were absorbed by Main Street Media of Tennessee. Dave Gould owns about 12 to 15 properties across the Middle Tennessee area, and Main Street Murray is one of those. And so I've been sports editor there for the last 5 years.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable in that position, in that job?
Fool me once, shame on you. I guess, Dick, for the state of journalism being what it is in this state, in this period of time, I guess I feel about as comfortable as you can feel.
Yeah, because what happened at the Tennessean and what happened in Columbia and what has happened all across the United States.
Yeah, and
I noticed that ESPN just laid off 75 people.
Yeah. And the one thing that you really have to try to remind yourself is it's not necessarily a reflection on you or your talent.
It's hard not to take it personal, but you really have to do that.
You have to, and I mean, sometimes you have to be a little egotistical to get past it and reflect back on that Hall of Fame induction and reflect back on those awards that you've won and the work that you've done and that kind of thing, and realize, this wasn't about an inability to do your job. This was something completely different. And so it's no less tough.
No.
So.
Absolutely. Well, we don't have but 6.5 minutes left. I don't guess we can get too deep into the national sports scene in that length of time, but needless to say, it's topsy-turvy right now.
It absolutely is. There's as much going on in court as there is on the court or on the gridiron or anything else. And there was just some decision late last week about an entire recruiting class getting a year of eligibility back at the collegiate level. We saw a couple of years ago a lot of basketball coaches, a lot of coaches, period, just getting out of the game. I mean, we've seen coaches that have left college sports for professional coaching positions. Dusty May just left Michigan a few weeks ago to take over as coach of the Dallas Mavericks of the NBA. And I think, unfortunately, you're seeing folks that are just saying the volatility of college athletics isn't something I'm comfortable with right now. And it's unfortunate.
So college athletics is trying to be like the professionals. And high school athletics is trying to be like the college. And it goes downhill, but it seems like it affects sports at all levels and all age groups and all sexes and everything.
And it's really unfortunate. I mean, you would like to think that high school athletics would be, and I don't want to sound like an old guy, but I guess I am. But yeah, exactly. But you would like to think that would be the last bastion of amateurism. You would like to think that kids who have grown up together and have come into high school together would be able to stay together and play together and that kind of thing. But invariably, you've got folks that feel like they need to move for whatever reason, more exposure, a better chance to win a state championship, whatever it is, whatever that thought process is. And I don't necessarily understand it. And the attitude that I've tried to take about it is I don't have to understand it. Whatever that child and his family or her family are thinking is best for them, it's what they should be able to do. It's really getting messy, it feels like.
Yeah, the one-time transfer rule, which I guess went into effect just
this year
for this coming athletic season, has affected not only high school football but all other sports.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're seeing folks moving around, and again, a lot of it. In me and some of the other guys that I work with, we've got a text string, obviously, and invariably somebody's name will pop up as going from school A to school B,
Right.
and you're trying to figure out, what the logic is behind it. What are they trying to accomplish with that? I'm texting with guys across the state. We'll see somebody make a move, and it's like, what is this about? And sometimes there's something underlying, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. But more often than not, it's kind of inexplicable. You don't know what folks are trying to get done with it, but, good luck to them.
It's kind of like the transfer portal, which has dramatically changed college athletics.
Transfer portal and NIL,
Yep.
and until some folks get some guardrails up on both, it's going to continue to be chaotic.
Now, is Congress the best way to go? Or some people say, well, Congress has messed up everything they've tried to do.
I'm glad you said it, but I mean, I just don't know. You have a lot of people who don't know as much about athletics as they think they do.
Yep.
Trying to get their arms around something that people who have made their living, made their career in athletics are struggling to get their arms around. I think the less governmental involvement would be better, but nobody's asking me other than you. So,
well, we've laid it out there now.
Yeah, I mean, let the people that know try to get it fixed. So we'll see.
So they say if it's not broke, don't fix it. But
it is broke.
The NCAA is.
It's most definitely broke, and maybe it's going to be got to be broken all the way down to be fixed sufficiently. I don't know.
Okay, so go ahead and get a free plug in there for your paper and your and your media stuff.
As I've said, Main Street Media has about 15 properties from Kentucky to Alabama, and basically from the Tennessee River over to the eastern borders of Wilson County. So be sure and check us out, Main Street Media. MainStreetMurray.com is where I do most of my work, and we focus on Murray and South Williamson counties.
So do you do a podcast?
Sports on Main Street drops Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Typically, it's about 20 to 30 minutes dealing with different personalities in sports across the Middle Tennessee area.
Okay. So, do a lot of high school coverage there?
More college and pro.
Really?
Yeah, because high school guys and girls are a little tougher to get a hold of during the day.
Yeah. So it does make a difference.
It does.
All right. Well, I've enjoyed this. We might have to do this again sometime.
Well, now that I know where it is, sure.
Okay. Maurice Patton from Columbia, Middle Tennessee graduate, and one of our favorite people. We know him as Mo. Mo, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll be back next Monday with another interesting guest, hopefully. You're listening to All Sports Talk.
Hey folks, it's Chip Walters from Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, helping Middle Tennessee make smart moves